Okay, get ready to rumble, because today's deep dive throws us right into the ring with the bronze bomber himself, Deontay Wilder. We're talking knockout power, Olympic glory, and a career path you wouldn't believe.
You're right to call it unbelievable. Most heavyweight champs, start young, honing their skills from childhood. Wilder, he stepped into a boxing gym for the first time at 20 years old. Imagine that. Practically a senior citizen in boxing years.
It's almost unheard of. You see these guys coming up through the ranks, years of amateur bouts under their belts, but Wilder flips the script. 2 years after first putting on gloves, he's winning the National Golden Gloves in the U.S. Championships. Makes you wonder, did this late start work FOR him in a way?
It's a fascinating question. See, a lot of boxers develop technique over years of sparring, learning to outmaneuver opponents. Wilder, with less time to polish those skills, relied heavily on raw athleticism and OR, have that incredible power.
And boy, did he have power. But before we get to the knockout highlight reel, let's talk about his Olympic run in 2008. Not just a participant, mind you, but a bronze medal winner in Beijing. That's got to be a confidence booster when you're just a few years into the sport.
It was more than a confidence boost. It was the forging of an identity. That bronze medal is where the bronze bomber was born, a nickname echoing the legendary Joe Louis, the brown bomber. It connected Wilder to this lineage of powerful heavyweights, and it became a symbol of his own journey, a testament to how far he'd come in such a short time.
And let's not forget his amateur record leading up to that, around 30 wins with only 5 losses. That's impressive for any boxer, let alone someone who started as late as Wilder. But as we'll see, those amateur bouts were just a taste of the force he was about to unleash on the professional boxing world.
What's remarkable is that even with that late start, even with a style built more on raw power than refined technique, he went on to dominate. It's almost as if his unorthodox path gave him an edge, made him less predictable, more intimidating.
Speaking of intimidating, let's talk about those professional fights. When you say Deontay Wilder, the first thing that comes to mind is knockouts. Brutal one-punch knockouts. We're talking about a guy who has ended every single one of his wins by knockout. That's not just power, that's a whole different level of force.
It's practically unheard of in the heavyweight division. We're talking a staggering 97.67% knockout-to-win ratio, the highest in heavyweight history. It's like he's got a lightning bolt in his right hand.
No wonder he's racked up so many Knockout of the Year awards. But even early in his professional career, before the titles and the spotlight, was that power always there?
Right from the get-go, he burst onto the scene like a human demolition derby, racking up first-round knockouts left and right. Opponents were terrified to get within arm's reach of him.
He was like a human highlight reel, just sending guys crashing to the canvas.
Yeah.
But you know what they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And Wilder's career certainly had his share of stumbles along the way.
That's what makes his story so compelling. He didn't just coast to the top on pure power. He faced setbacks, controversies, even career-threatening injuries.
Let's rewind a bit and talk about some of those bumps in the road, like the Audley Harrison fight, Wilder's UK debut. Harrison, a former Olympic gold medalist, was so confident he'd win that he promised to retire if he lost.
Talk about high stakes. And Wilder didn't just win, he demolished Harrison in the first round. It was a statement victory that sent shockwaves through the boxing world.
It proved he could back up those highlight reel knockouts with a win against a seasoned veteran. But then came the canceled Povetkin fight. Here was Wilder ready to prove himself against a top-ranked contender, a mandatory title defense. And then
Povetkin fails a drug test for meldonium. The fight's off. It was a huge disappointment for Wilder, who was eager to silence the doubters who claimed he was avoiding tough opponents.
a major setback, especially after all the trash talk and anticipation leading up to the fight, though he did walk away with a hefty settlement, which says something about his commitment to clean competition.
Absolutely. But just as he was getting back on track, injury struck. Remember the Areola fight?
How could we forget? Wilder wins, but he breaks his hand and tears his bicep during the fight. Talk about adding insult to injury. It sidelined him for the rest of 2016, right?
Right. It was a devastating blow. But it also revealed a lot about Wilder's character. He could have easily let those setbacks derail his career. Instead, he doubled down on his recovery, fueled by this almost superhuman determination.
And that determination paid off in 2017 when he finally got a shot at the WBC heavyweight title against Romain Stavern. But this time it wasn't just about the knockout. It was about proving he had the stamina, the chin, the heart to go the distance.
And go the distance he did. He battled Stavern for a grueling 12 rounds, earning a unanimous decision and cementing his place in boxing history as the first American heavyweight champion in nearly a decade.
This wasn't just a victory for Deontay Wilder. It was a victory for American boxing, a sign that a new era of heavyweight dominance was upon us. But as we know, becoming champion is one thing. Staying there, that's a whole other battle. And Wilder's title reign was anything but a cakewalk. It was full of explosive defenses and some seriously dramatic moments.
To say the least, remember his first title defense? He chose to fight back home in Alabama, a move that electrified the entire state. It was about more than just defending a belt. It was about hometown pride, about inspiring a new generation of young boxers.
And then he met Steven again for a rematch. I remember watching that fight thinking Steven might put up more of a fight the second time around, but
Wilder ended it in the first round, a devastating knockout that silenced any lingering doubts about his dominance. But then came a real test. Luis
Ortiz, the crafty Cuban southpaw, a boxer known for his skill and experience. He was a serious threat to Wilder's reign, and that first fight was a nail-biter.
To call it a nail-biter is an understatement. Wilder was actually behind on the scorecards, facing real adversity for the first time in his championship run, but then in classic Bronze Bomber fashion.
Boom. He unleashes that right hand in the 10th round. And it's lights out for Ortiz. It wasn't just a win. It was a testament to Wilder's resilience, his ability to dig deep and find a way to win, even when things weren't going his way.
And if the first Ortiz fight was a thriller, the rematch cemented Wilder's place as a top heavyweight. Once again, he was behind on the scorecards. And once again, he pulled off a stunning knockout, this time in the 7th round. It was like a scene from a Hollywood movie, the underdog champion defying the odds with one thunderous punch.
Talk about a testament to his power. But of course, no discussion about Deontay Wilder's career would be complete without mentioning the trilogy that redefined his legacy. The 3 epic battles against Tyson Fury.
The first Fury fight was one for the ages. Wilder knocked Fury down twice, including that dramatic knockdown in the 12th round, which had everyone thinking the fight was over. But somehow, Fury beat the count, survived the round, and the fight ended in a controversial split decision draw.
A lot of people thought Fury won that fight. It was a real turning point, not just in Wilder's career, but in the entire heavyweight landscape. Suddenly, there was a new king in town, someone who could withstand Wilder's power and push him to the limit.
And push him to the limit, Fury did. The second fight was all Fury. He controlled the action from start to finish, ultimately stopping Wilder in the 7th round. It was Wilder's first professional loss, a bitter pill to swallow after such a dominant reign.
It was a tough loss, one that Wilder struggled to explain. He had his reasons, but ultimately he had to face the reality that there was another fighter who could match and even surpass his power and determination.
But Wilder wouldn't stay down for long. He came back for the 3rd fight, determined to reclaim his crown in what many consider to be the fight of the year. 5 knockdowns between the 2 fighters, a brutal back-and-forth battle that showcased the heart and grit of both men.
Fury ultimately won by knockout in the 11th round, but not before Wilder put on display of raw courage and power that left everyone in awe. Those 3 fights cemented both Wilder and Fury as legends of their era.
And that's where we find ourselves today, reflecting on Deontay Wilder's career. A career marked by incredible highs and devastating lows. He's faced setbacks recently, losses to fighters like Robert Helen and Andy Ruiz Jr. that have led some to question his place among the all-time greats.
It's true, those recent losses have tarnished his record a bit. But when you look at his entire body of work, the sheer number of knockouts, the heart he's shown in the ring, the way he's carried himself as a champion, it's hard to deny his impact.
Exactly. Deontay Wilder is a walking paradox, a late bloomer who became a knockout artist, a fighter who relied on raw power but also showed incredible resilience, a controversial figure who also inspired a generation. So as you delve deeper into the Bronze Bomber's career, ask yourself this: how will Deontay Wilder be remembered in the grand tapestry of boxing history? His story is far from over, but his mark on the sport is undeniable.